Hi everyone, my name is Beth Mudharia, a secondary school teacher and a mental health coach. When you think about drug abuse, what comes to your mind? Most of the times, you're thinking about that alcoholic person that you know of. You're thinking about alcohol itself. You're thinking about bangi. You're thinking about that boy who fought your son because he had taken bangi. And so many things come to your mind. Let's talk about teens and drug abuse. The teens use drugs for various reasons. Most of them are just doing it for experimentation. There are others that are deep into drug abuse, severe substance abuse. Why do our children get to drugs? Can I ask you a question? Have you ever taken any drugs, even if it was just a puff? What made you to do it? You have a reason why you did it, but I could guess it would have been as a result of curiosity. You had heard people talk of when you take bangi, you can have a lot of strength, you can study for a long time without sleeping, and you will get high. You wanted to get such an experience, so you were curious. What would it do for you? What would it do to you? What do they mean when they talk about high? And so you went ahead and you took that path. What made you do it would bring your son or your daughter have the same experience. Other reasons why the children may be using drugs is as a result of peer pressure. They are among the other children who are doing it, and they don't want to look the odd one out. So they don't want to be told, where you are mama's boy. You can't take it because you're fearing your father. You're fearing your mom. Just take it. You won't be part of us. So out of peer pressure, the child may do it just to please the others. Others do it out of broken relationship. They feel so sad and so hurt, and they want to seek sorries in the drugs. Stress comes in, anxiety, depression, and others have even been dropped by their girlfriends, and they want to take drugs. So what can we do? There we are. Our children, they have already gotten themselves there. Maybe you're saying, I don't have that problem. Or probably you had said earlier, you don't have that problem. You know, it started from the city, probably, but now it is in the village. It started with the neighbor's child, but now it is at home. It started with maybe the urbanites, and now there you are. You don't get how come that you are also affected. So what can we do? We can say that we are in trouble. Our children are in it. So what can we do about it? One of the things that we have said, relationship with our children is very, very important. And this relationship does not start when the children are teens. It starts from the time they are very young. The relationship, when we create a bond, a great bond with our children, and we discuss things with them from the time they are small, even when they get to be a little bit older, you can always talk about these things. Remember, you have not always been talking about drugs. Every other topic is discussed at home. And so, when the drug issue comes, it is easy to discuss such a topic at home because there are always topics that are being discussed. But this can only happen when there is a great bond between the child and the parent. And there is that freedom. There is freedom of free flow of communication, that consistency communication with the children, such that the children can tell you where some of their problems. So I would encourage us to start those discussions, that bond. And a child, we always know, we have talked about it, a child, we always know that they can confide with their mother, they can confide with their daddy, they can confide with that family member because there is a great bond. I want to say that this great bond between a child and their parent or the caregiver is so key to many of the problems that our children are facing. There is that continuation of communication from the time they are small to the time they are mature. So parents, kindly let us create that bond between us and our children. We may also decide or think about setting boundaries, setting rules, boundaries of what should be done. Different homes will have different boundaries and rules that they follow. For example, you may decide as a family the time for reporting home. You should not report. You should not get to the house after 9. That's a boundary that has been set. So once the children are familiar with boundaries, you can talk about boundary and say, in this place, drugs are not used. Now the problem comes in when we set boundaries that are supposed to be only for children. Take for example, if in the house there is somebody who is using the drugs, or who is using the drugs, and probably it's the parent, and then it becomes very difficult to tell this child that you should not smoke, for example. You should not take alcohol. And there is a family member who is taking the alcohol. For example, it could be the dad who is a smoker. And the dad is telling the son, don't be like me. You know, I started smoking when I was young. Now I am unable to come out of it. The son will just think, Daddy is my hero. If he's unable to stop it, I think, and he's also taking it, it's not so bad after all. If the adults are taking it, what's so bad about it? So when we set the boundaries, as far as it is possible, as much as it is possible, these boundaries should be there for everyone, not for the children only, because they will feel like they are being discriminated upon. So when they are young, they will follow. They will follow. But when they are a little bit older, it's also important to make them part of the boundary setting, part of the rules setting, so that they can also participate. What do you think? What time is the best to come home? If they participate in it, it is not that they are just being told. They are also part of the setting of the boundaries. Using appropriate discipline at home. When we set boundaries, we have said, in this home, this should not be done. So when that thing is done, there should be a way of disciplining the violation of the boundary. So this helps the children to keep the discipline, because they know if they violate the boundaries, they are going to be disciplined. The children will know that there is a consequence of violating what has been done. We also need to eliminate some of the risk factors. We have mentioned them in other videos. High level of conflict, family conflict, may cause these children to get disturbed, and they may get sorries. They may want to get sorries in these drugs. And again, inconsistency in the parental discipline. For example, you have two children. One child does this today, you punish them. The following day, the next one does the same thing, he's not punished. So the parents, you think, the children will think there is favoritism. There should be some consistency, consistent parental discipline, such that they know, if I do this, this is likely to happen to me. That helps a lot, because these children who may feel like they are not being loved, they may think they are not being loved, they may get into drugs. Another measure or that risk factor that we may want to look at is transfer of children from one school to another many times. Children, as far as it is possible, they should be able to stay in one school as far as it is possible. Why is that? Because when they transfer from one school to another, they had already created friendship, relationships in that school. When they get to this new school, they may get lonely. They may feel that they don't have friends. They may be discriminated or looked down upon, and that can cause them getting into drugs. So now, with all these, and when we have done all these, this is going to help our children feel protected. And as a society, we must protect our children against drug abuse. We must be there for these children so that they are not abusing this drug, the drugs. We must protect them from things like crime, the crimes that they may get into, because when they get into crime, they may be fighting, they will get into legal, they may get into maybe legal affairs, and they get into the wrong side of the law. And where they are there, getting into drugs, if they were not already there in the drugs, is going to affect them. So, drug abuse is a real problem in our society. And with our teens, they are experimenting with this drug abuse because probably of the loneliness, anxiety, stress, and all that. So let's help them. Let us be there for them. And as a society, dealing with drugs may take time. And it is also expensive. But we need to be there for the children. Prevention is better than cure. We need to be there for them, and we stop. We stop all the drug abuse, because it will have a very negative impact. It's like a time bomb. If we don't do it, the negative impact will be so huge. I would request that you subscribe to this channel so that so that you can get new notification when we post the videos. And by that, I would request you, once you subscribe, press that notification button, and every time we put up more videos, you'll be notified. Thank you very much.